Ladles and jelly spoons, welcome back to Badgerworks. Today, I want to introduce you to a personal friend of mine. This is the M41A Pulse Rifle, 10mm, with over and under 30mm pump action grenade launcher. Feel the weight. Yes, this is a pulse rifle from the film Aliens. This one is actually the Snowwolf SW11 airsoft version of the pulse rifle. I bought this for my son. He doesn't actually know it's here yet, so that should be fun. And I like it, but it does have one or two minor quibbles, shall we say. It's quite well made for the most part, but there's a couple of bits that I'm not overly keen on. To give you a bit of background on this, if you're not familiar, this rifle was made for the film Aliens, and it's basically a hodgepodge of 3 different weapons. So the receiver is a Thompson submachine gun, as you can possibly tell just from the shape of it. If I try and turn it over, God, it's quite hefty. But yeah, it's basically a Thompson SMG. Apparently the reason they used the Thompson was because they wanted, as with all of the weapons, they were all blank firing weapons because they wanted the actors to actually experience gunfire during the scenes, rather than sort of, you know, putting in all the effects afterwards. It was like, well, let's just give them blank firing weapons, and then when they shoot them, they'll get the recoil, they'll get the muzzle flash and everything else. So that's what they did. So they chose the Thompson for that. So the front of it, the famous pump action grenade launcher, is actually 2 shotguns. The action is a Remington 870 pump action shotgun, and all of this is basically from a Franke Spas 12. So the magazine tube cover and the pump. So this is actually the pump handle from a Spas 12 that's basically been cut in half. So anyway, that's all by the by. As I say, this is the airsoft version, and it has some really nice features. It has a working ammo counter, which is quite cool. But that in itself actually leads me to the point of this video. The main problem for me with this particular gun is this, and it's this cap that goes over the end of the magazine well, and this is actually a separate piece, and inside we have the battery for the ammo counter. The actual rifle battery goes in here, but this 9-volt battery here powers the ammo counter, and it is quite cool because basically when you take the magazine out, if you watch the counter, you see it goes to 0, and then when I put a magazine in, it goes up to 95, and it does actually count when you fire. I don't know quite how it works, but it does. So it uses the standard Thompson magazine, as the one in the film does. But the problem is this. If I just pop that back in there for a minute, which is a little bit fiddly. This is a separate cap, as you can see. So to change the magazine, you have to take this cap off, put it to one side, take the mag out, put another magazine in, put the cap back on. With this being an airsoft gun, with these high capacity magazines, it has a spring tensioner on the bottom. You wind this and it tensions the spring in the magazine. So again, when you've got the magazine on the weapon and you've got this cover on, you can't get to that winder. And apparently what a lot of people do is they take a Dremel and they cut the bottom of this base plate out so they can get to it. And I didn't really like that. So what I did was I spent a few minutes in Tinkercad and I made this. This is 3D printed, one of the joys of 3D printing, rapid prototyping. And this basically goes on the end of the magazine, like so. So you see there's I've added a couple of grips in there, and there's a bit at the back, and basically they match the base of the magazine. Specifically these lips here and this T-piece. So basically you go like that and you snap that onto the bottom of the magazine. It's quite secure, and now not only does that replicate the one from the film, because if you look at the one in the film, there's only one scene where anybody actually removes the magazine from a pulse rifle, and it's where Hicks is showing Ripley how to use it, and she takes the magazine out, and you can see quite clearly when she takes the mag out that it is a Thompson magazine, and the base plate is attached to the magazine. What I've also done is I've made a little bit on the bottom here so you can get to the winder. So there's a gap there for the battery. So if I pop this in here now, it is a bit fiddly getting the magazines in with this thing, but, and there you go. You see, it's not a perfect fit. It needs a little bit of tweaking on the design, but it's I think you'll agree, much better than this. And also now we don't have to worry about losing this. We can keep this safe, and I can print more of these so that if he gets any more magazines, because it only came with one, he can have one on each magazine. The keen-eyed among you will have noticed that these lugs on this, which are also on here, on the film rifle, are actually part of the magazine well. And I did actually toy with the idea of having them separate and like printing a couple of these and just like sticking them in place. The problem with that is on this side it's fine, there's plenty of room to do that. On this side you've got the battery box and the switch for the ammo counter, and it's just too much faff. So I decided in the end to kind of replicate the design of this one and just have them on there. So, and again, if they get broken off, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you that. I've still got a few more refinements to make to it, but it's 99% of the way there. And besides, it gives me an excuse to show off this pulse rifle. So yeah, that was it really. What I might do once I've got this design fully buttoned up is I'll probably like dump it on Thingiverse or something, and if anybody wants to print their own, then they can. So I'll put a link in the description to where I'm going to put it. I don't know if it'll be up by the time I put this video up, but if it's not, then you know, whatever. But yeah, I just thought that might be of interest to a few of you. Something I've been busy with the last few days. I'd like to take a moment to thank my top tier patrons, Amy, Howard and Edwin, for their ongoing support, because it's people like that that make things like this possible. So thank you guys, it's much appreciated. Yeah, so you know, I hope this was of interest to a few of you. Do feel free to come and join us in the staff canteen on Facebook, and if you are feeling flush, then by all means come and join us on Patreon. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers. Bye.